Hey guys, it's Mel and welcome to the Mondays Mindful. I am back. I know that on the last couple podcasts I was sharing with Billy that I'd gotten out of my routine on a lot of things, which I want to talk about today. But one of the things with the Mondays Mindful is that I had a guest the first couple times, and it's difficult for me sometimes to film. I'm finding that it's easier having a conversation. So I'm used to having that podcast on Fridays with Billy where we go back and forth and it's a conversation, and whether we have guests or not. This is a little bit more difficult for me when I don't have a guest to record the videos myself and just be staring at the camera. So many of you who do podcasts and live videos and posts and things probably can relate. So I do know that no excuses. I am here. I am getting back. I am back to my routine for my week, and I am getting back to this, especially because I had posted some links and some YouTube videos over the last couple weeks that I wanted to talk about a little bit in the next up and coming weeks about some relationships and just some things, that I wanted to share. So one of the things about the routine that I had been struggling with, I got out of my routine, and I think it was probably late fall, right around the holidays, and it's been a little bit of a struggle for me to get back because my gym was closed also from pipes bursting in December. And what I noticed was that routine has been something that has really kept me more grounded and motivated and dedicated. So now that I am back to the gym, I am back there early in the mornings, and I can get some time in the sauna, and I really just loving my routine that I want to share because I've shared some of the podcasts and books that I've read and some of the things that I'm doing, and other people have really enjoyed it and have started as well. And I think that it has worked really well for me, and it's helped me, and I would love for it to help you too. So as I mentioned, the that 5:30 alarm I usually set it for comes pretty early, especially if I'm working late. So I make sure that I am in bed no later. I have to be asleep pretty much by 11:30, or it's hard to get up. I know how much time I think that my body really needs to sleep. So I'm focusing on getting back to the 11 o'clock bedtime, which helps me then get up at the 5:30 alarm. I really like to go right to the gym. I do some workout, 45 minutes. I've been doing about an hour, and then I sit in the sauna for about 20-30 minutes. I did hear that people who, I think if you go to the sauna, 2-3 times a week, 3-4 times a week, it can really lengthen your lifespan. I know that there's a lot of other things with cryotherapy, and a lot of people that are doing some other, wellness and programs like that, but I know the sauna is really good for you. I like it because I can sweat. It's quiet in there. I either have my headphones on, or I actually use that time to read some of my books because I don't have a lot of time throughout the day, and I don't really like to read at night. So I use that to do a 20 or 30 minutes of reading for some of the books because I love audiobooks now. I joined the Hershey Public Library, and there's an app called the Libby app, and I'm able to download a ton of free audiobooks. So I highly suggest checking out your library, getting that Libby app. I don't know if you need, I think you do need a library card for that, but I've really found some really great audiobooks that are awesome. But I like to enjoy that time in the morning. It's quiet, get back and shower, but I have gotten away from coffee a little bit. I used to drink hot tea a lot. But I'm actually been drinking a lot of green tea lately. Put a little turmeric, I don't even know how to say it, but some cinnamon in it as well, and that gets me going in the mornings. I really find that I don't have as much of a crash. I know some of the French vanilla creamers that we all love that I used to have too has a lot of sugar in it and a lot of fat too. So I tried to get into more of the green tea in the morning, and it's really helped me. Some other supplements that I've been using also for concentration. Ashwagandha is really good for de-stressing, and yerba mate tea as well for concentration. I've been actually doing some shakes and whatnot for about 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer with that, and that really helps me too. So if there's any programs and nutrition things that you use, that's really great because I think we all know what we put in our bodies, and in our second brain, which is our gut, right? That really takes a toll on our day and our energy. So that's kind of my morning routine. But some of the podcasts that I was sharing also recently, I wanted to just really let you know how much it's really changed my world in the morning and throughout the day that I've been listening to these podcasts and why. So I usually listen to the Daily Motivation Show. It's about a 10-minute show, and it's usually just a short clipping of a larger podcast that Lewis Howes does on his School of Greatness. So I listen to the Daily Motivation while I'm in the bathroom, I'm getting ready, I'm brushing my teeth. It's only 10 minutes. It's a really great way to start the day and just listen to a really small nugget. Usually it's a guest that he has on, again, from another show, but they're just really impactful and really great things to just get you motivated. And then I do listen to his School of Greatness, and I absolutely feel I am being schooled. Like, I have such appreciation for his podcast and what he's doing. He's really changing a lot of people's lives, and the guests are just phenomenal people from all over the world. And I just really do feel like it's education. I think it's a great name, School of Greatness. And it's just been really interesting to hear a lot of stories from people who right now in my life, where I'm at and the things that I know that I'm working on really have been, it's just been really beneficial to hear those. So highly recommend those two first thing in the morning if you can. And then I also listened to Mel Robbins' podcast, and I talked on the podcast with Billy a little bit about the high five habit that she started, and she wrote a book on it. It's called The High Five Habit. And we were talking about habits and forming habits and things that we were doing a couple podcasts ago. If you want to hop on that and watch the recap, it shows a little bit of what we're doing and what I'm doing to get back into these really good habits, nick the bad habits. And one of hers was listening to birds chirping. And I did actually start that. And in the morning, there's something that just triggers in your brain, hearing the bird sounds that just kind of gets you going. But it's also been helpful as today, especially, and last week, a couple of days that it's been sunny out, because I really, really feel I got hit hard with that whole seasonal depression. I don't think that I really ever felt it that much. I know I was traveling a lot over October, November. I've had one trip a month, and it's always been in sunny places. So when I come back and it's cold, it's been a hard transition back. But I also really think that a lot of people, it's real. I feel it. And when it is sunny out, man, I have a pep in my step. I am like a kid skipping around. So it's easier to get up. It's easier to get motivated. And I think that the idea of forming these habits and doing these things that we get excited for, I literally get excited to listen to these podcasts. So I want to hear, just bits of education that are going to help me think, help me change my mindset, and get me going through the day. So I think that those are ways that we're, somewhat rewarding ourselves, because I feel, if we snooze and we sleep and we don't have enough time, sometimes the podcasts are about an hour long, that we might not be able to get them in before we start our day. Or, it's easy for me because I sit at my desk a lot, but if I have meetings, but I also listen to them when I'm driving now. So they're just really great ways to spend your time. I love listening to music. Everyone that knows me knows I love music. I love dancing in my car, my country, or BPM or 80s. But I've really tried to substitute with some education in these podcasts. On a lot of them are, just working on ourselves, and a lot of the things that we've been avoiding, a lot of things that we didn't even know about ourselves, things that just the subconscious and our childhood, and so many things that affect our business, our finances, our relationships, our mental health, our physical health, and our wellness. And all of that really stems from a lot of these inner issues that we have that we just haven't faced, and we didn't really either know how, know why, or even that they existed. I think sometimes we're just so numb and ignoring them. So another podcast that I do listen to, and like Mel Robbins and the School of Greatness, some of them don't come out every day. They come out every other day or a couple of times a week, is Danny Morell, Your Higher Self. So this one is really working on a lot of things that are from childhood and, past relationships and past trauma. But what I noticed, and the reason why I wanted to share a lot of this, because I had gotten into the 10X program, the Growth Con with Grant Cardone, and a lot of the accelerator program with sales and marketing. And I learned so much on the business side because I was really wanting to advance my business and get to the next level, and I was doing it alone. So I'd signed up for these programs over about 2 years ago, and read his book and just really changed my mindset on business and different things. But I was still struggling and I didn't know why. And I think that I was still putting things off. I was still being a little bit fear of failure, then fear of success, and all of these things that went along with the journey of my business and the ups and downs and my personal life. So when I really started to listen to these podcasts, and what I've been really thinking in the last couple weeks and months as I'm doing a lot of this inner work on myself, I really don't think that I would be able to get past certain blocks in my business and the things that I'm doing and not doing and focusing on and not focusing on and planning and systems and the foundation and, putting things off if I didn't work on myself first. And I think that I always have been self-reflective and self-aware and, really wanted to know a lot of the people around me and know myself. But I just really started digging a lot deeper, going to counseling for the last 2 years and looking at a lot of things. But I just started to unpack more recently that is a really, Danny Morell's podcast, Your Higher Self, is a really good podcast for that. And Lewis Howes does get into that as well. But I really do think that if you're struggling with certain aspects, it could be the business or your career, it could be your relationship, it could be your health and your weight and, even mental health, that there are things that I think that we might not know we need to dig into. And these podcasts every day, just talking about little things, they have, psychologists or therapists or experts in, mindset and growth and relationships and wealth and finance and all of these things that just start to really trigger things in our brains. And for me, it just started making me curious. It started, questioning myself, digging, just hearing things that I related to and said, wow, that does sound kind of like me, or, I struggle with that, or no wonder I'm not alone. And one of the biggest things from listening to these every day is we're not alone. There are, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people going through the same things and the same struggles. And there's so many things that we do and we don't know that we do them or why, but it is not our fault and it is not our, programming. And you hear a lot of things that we need to rewire our brain or, unpack a lot of things that, we were kind of taught, and we have to unteach those to start over. And I do believe that. And that's really where I'm at with a lot of things that are happening for me. But I just really feel before I could address some of the major, things that I needed to do to advance my business and get on to things that I was holding back from with my website and my Etsy store and outsourcing and setting a plan and hiring people and all the stuff that I'm starting to do now, was because I wasn't addressing a lot of the work that I needed to do on myself, and the why behind a lot of those things is hidden in a lot of that. So I just think I wanted to share a little bit with you guys, and then how we can then take steps after that. I don't think that I would have ever gotten to the next place that I wanted to be or achieved certain feats of success with little by little if I hadn't addressed these things. So definitely want to recommend going to these podcasts if you don't have anything right now that you're really leaning into and listening to every day to give you motivation. Highly recommend them. Stefan Speaks is somebody that I follow a little bit too. He was on the Lewis Howes School of Greatness as well when it comes to relationships. And when I started listening to some of the things that he was talking about, I realized that all of this as well, it all relates. So everything that, we might be holding from childhood, from past relationships, trauma or grief or shame, from a divorce or, losing a business, that there are a lot of things that translates into a lot of the issues that we carry into relationships. It affects our finances and our relationship with money. It affects friendships, and also the way that we just are emotionally and we're triggered. So I really think that there's something to be said about trying to work on a lot of the inner self, and our inner child. And then sometimes we just figure it out along the way what some of the other things that were holding us back. And I have just learned so much information from these podcasts that I just want to share it. I send text messages to some of my friends. They've really started to love them as well. And we actually talk about it. We actually, just text back and forth and send little quotes or send, hey, wow, that was such a great nugget. And can't believe that, and oh my gosh, I feel the same way, or this is why maybe I've been doing this, and I want to work better on it. So these are also connections that we can form with other people, and we can do that with our significant other or our friends, and I really think that it can bring us together, and it can open some of our eyes that we haven't really seen or been open to in the past. So yeah, I definitely, I will write all of these down so that if you're watching this, you can click on them and just check them out for a little bit. But really has changed my routine, and just in fact, a routine in general has significantly helped me just slow down. There's a lot of things that they say about being busy. Everyone that knows me knew I was always busy, never stop, 200 miles an hour. But I also think that it was a part of things that were going on that I didn't want to slow down to face things. I didn't want to, have to stop to think about it or stop to be vulnerable and get hurt in certain ways. So there are certain truths that I am learning, absolutely. And it's not always a bad thing to be busy and, always involved. But I think for me, I realized the lifestyle and the things that I wanted moving forward, and really just wanted to slow my mind down. And these are really great things that have helped me, in addition to meditation and, just taking time throughout the day to just take some deep breaths. And, it's just really transformative that I hope can help a lot of you guys moving forward. So excited to be back for the Mondays Mindful. Hope this was a little bit of help of tidbits of information, and we will see you next week. But catch Friday's episode of the Millennial with Billy and Mel, 2 p.m. live this week, and I will see you then.